Alright guys, today we're going to start a new sculpture in water-based clay. I know that I'm going to be doing some other types of clay in the future like wax, but since I have this clay left over, I want to use it up. So we're going to start out by making a base. I always start with a base, and one of the things that people have asked me is that do I usually put it in a piece of wood at the end? And normally I don't. I like to have a clay base and build a figure on that. I can eventually put a nice wood base, but I've never really done that. This is probably the quickest way I find for sculpting, and I'll often use some of the older clay to make the base and make some of the masks. So this is a raking tool. It's an aluminum raking tool, and I'm going to cut another slice of the clay. This is grog clay, so it's got a little bit of the particles that help firing. I really recommend this sort of clay, low fire, water-based clay. So this is going to be a mask for the spine and the back. And usually I do it like this. I kind of eyeball the mask that I need. Sometimes I don't get the proportions right. If you do this, you're probably not going to get proportions right, but you have to kind of build a little bit of the figure in order to get the proportions. So as you can tell, it's a kneeling pose. The model is really good, but unfortunately the type of reference that I have is from femaleanatomyforartists.com, and they don't provide a lot of reference. So at this point you can see some of the leg. There's going to be a lot of width to the bottom because there's going to be a lot of gravity pushing onto that lower leg, and eventually this is going to be firming up. The clay right now is just so soft and gravity pushes it down so much that I'm constantly pushing up on the clay. And that's the chest where the rib cage is going to be. So I lay the clay down and then I rake it. That way all the sections will blend together. Now I'm going to be sculpting where I think the chest is, and I jump around from one part to the other. I don't linger on one section too much. And now I'm adding where the chest is, where the breasts are, and this is where the arm is going to be. The arm is a little bit complex here. One of the things that I use often are these sticks. The sticks will help me lay out the position of the arm, and also it acts as a straight edge. A lot of people, they curve the bones as if the bones have this very strange curvature. The sticks help you keep things straight and also attached to the body, which is very important. This painter scraper helps a lot in keeping things simple in the beginning. As you can tell, I've added a couple more sticks to help balance and support the clay. Remember, there's no armature inside, so you have to figure out a different way, and this is the way I usually go about it. Someone mentioned putting maybe a sock with sand inside the sculpture. That's something I've never done, but I don't recommend it because eventually you're going to have to remove it, and if there's sand left over, it just seems overly complex. There is the possibility of doing that. I've never tried it. So here I'm indicating some of the details where the sacrum is. The two dimples on the back is going to give you an indication of where the iliac crest is. And you're going to have to draw a line all the way to the top. That's going to be your halves. And then we're going to concentrate on the anatomy. I'm not going to do anatomy in this video. This is just the gesture and foundation. Once this firms up a little bit, I'll be able to attach the arms, make measurements for the proportions, and then add some of the details. One of the things I'm going to try and do is keep the sculpture nice and simple. I think one of my issues in previous sculptures is that I add too many details. And often I like the look of sculpting with just my straight painter scraper that I have in my hand. It gives it a really interesting, simple look that I really like. So the light is kind of coming down. It helps to have natural light. At least I really like the natural light, but right now I have different light, which is an artificial, and it gives it a little bit of a warmer feel. But you can tell I'm keeping things really straight. I want to be able to make the distinction between the top of the arm, the side of the arm, the bottom of the arm, and I don't want to go too far into the details. With the head, I want to indicate where the eye sockets are going to be, where the bones are coming to the surface, and then eventually I'll work on the proportions in the next video. I'm using my raking tool as well to push things down, and this kind of wooden tool helps quite a bit getting the clay to join the previous clay that I added. You don't want to leave any imperfections and bubbles that will come to the surface. Eventually that could break if it's fired too fast. So I'm going to end the video here. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.